Alrighty folks, for this video we're going to talk about what happened when some clever folks got their hands on church mode theory. So there was a theorist named, I'll write this right in here, Hermann the Lame. Who basically looked at the church modes and thought that if you add a tone to this one and this one to either side of the original four finals that we have here, right? You add a tone to either side of those, you actually sum up kind of a lot of chant stuff right in there. And let me show you how. So first, you've got these four notes here give you the first four steps of Mixolydian. So G, A, B, C, that's whole, half, and the adjusted Lydian, the Lydian with the B flat, which is how they usually sing it, right? So next, if you take these four notes, well, that's Dorian, right? Whole, half, whole. And then if you take the last four possible notes, that's Phrygian, right? Half, whole, whole. So you kind of get all of the original pentachords just in these 6 notes. This also, by the way, kind of starts off the idea of major-minor tonality, right? With the 4 notes from here to here being like major, and then the 4 from the next 4 being like minor, and then you have sort of weirdo Phrygian that eventually kind of disappeared. Okay, now, what happened next after the hexachord idea was our hero, Guido of Arezzo, who I talked about before, helped invent the staff, the Guidonian hand, all of this stuff. He either found or possibly wrote this hymn, known by its first couple of words, ut queant laxis. And basically, if you pay attention, you can see that this first syllable of each phrase is one of the different notes of the hexachord that Hermann the Lame came up with, right? The hexachord was C, D, E, F, G, A, and that's what we've got here. C, D, E, F, G, A. And each of these has a different syllable. Ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Hopefully this is sounding actually kind of familiar, because this is the basis of modern solfege. But what Guido was teaching, young folks to sing, boys and young men to sing in his monastery. And so he used this as a teaching tool, because between these 6 notes, you get all the possible intervals really that you'd ever need, right? So between C and D, you have a whole step. Between E and F, you have a half step. Between C and E, you have a major third. Or ut and re, mi and fa. Ut and mi is a major third. Re to fa is a minor third. You've got your perfect fourth. You've got your perfect fifth. Ut fa and ut sol, and now I've made a giant mess of this whole thing, so I'm going to clear it up a little bit. So yeah, this was a way to teach students how to sing anything at sight. However, you might have noticed that we've got C, D, E, F, G, A. We're missing a couple of notes, particularly B. So to get the B, Guido just moved the whole dang thing up to start on G. So this would be ut and re and mi and fa and sol and la. And notice once again the half step pair, there's only one half step pair, that's mi and fa. And we've got the hard B in here, so this was called the hard hexachord. Going back to the other one, real quick, which you might have already noticed from the title of the file, this was called the natural hexachord, because you didn't have to do it's the starting place, and you didn't have to do anything weird. So we've got all our notes, including B now, but we're also missing that lowered B, the soft B. And so once again, Guido just rearranged the whole setup to start on F. So now we've got ut, re, mi, fa. Once again, mi, fa is that half-step pair, and then sol and la. And because it had the soft B in it, he called this the soft hexachord. Well, you get the idea. So now they've got a syllable for every note that you could possibly sing. So for a given chant, you would start in one hexachord, and then when the notes that you needed to sing moved out of that hexachord, you would change hexachords, and this was called mutation. You would mutate into a new hexachord. So let's do an example real quick. We'll start in the natural hexachord, and we'll sing ut, re, mi, fa, but then fa, sol, but then we see that the next part is going to go up higher into B. So we're on sol, so we're going to, or higher, into B and beyond. So now we're on ut, re, mi, fa, mi, re, ut, and now it's going to descend again. So we're going to go back to the natural hexachord, mutate back to the natural hexachord. We're on ut, now it becomes sol, fa, mi, sol, mi, ut. And we just sort of mutated back and forth between those two. And now I can actually explain that one quirk of Dorian mode. If you remember, I said when you had two A's with a B in between them, you would lower that B, you'd sing it B flat. And this had a rhyming rule, and there were tons of these, like little mnemonic devices to help you to remember stuff, kind of like 30 days, half September, all the rest. And the rule, it was in Latin, but it basically goes like this. When between las, always sing fa. And what that meant was, so this is, when they say when between las, they're talking about this. A is la in the natural hexachord. But when B flat shows up, B flat is always fa, right? So when you saw two las, two A's in the natural hexachord, you would, in between them, you would sing fa, the lowered B from the soft hexachord. Okay. Now, all of this theory it's kind of complicated. It doesn't always apply neatly. We've already talked about some quirks, and there are plenty of exceptions. So in the next video, we're going to go through a couple of examples and look at two chants, one that fits very poorly into this new system, and one that fits so well into this new system that it seems pretty obvious that the composer knew the theory before they started writing the music.